Hi, G. Krause here, and the book is Alan Drury's Advise and Consent. Um, I first tried to read this book when I was about 10 or about 12, 13 years old, and well, no. So I was at a recent Lost Weekend Film Festival, look it up, and I was looking through the shelves of blue plate books here in Winchester, look it up, and came across this copy and said, what the heck? I think I'll give it a try. What the hell? So I bought it and I read it. And what the hell? Now, don't get me wrong, book kept me interested, kept me going throughout its 764 pages of blinding small print. But I wonder if this portrayal of a Senate confirmation of a nominee for Secretary of State, it was accurate for back then, because things were done that really just didn't make a lot of sense. For example, the nominee, whose name is Robert Leffingwell, is allowed to cross-examine a witness against him at the same table that he's sitting. What? Aren't the senators supposed to cross-examine the witnesses and then come back to the nominee and say, hey, what about this? What about that? I mean, it's a lot to me like having a witness brought to the defendant's table, then harangued by the defendant while sitting there. I mean, that's only going to work if the defendant is acting as his own lawyer, fool for a client, all that. I really don't think that's how things work. And then the senators didn't even bother looking for another witness that came up during this discussion. They just took the nominee's word for it that this witness didn't exist. Don't think it works that way. Now, oddest of all, Leffingwell, right from the beginning, pretty much tells the entire Senate to go F itself. He's not going to answer any specific questions about his beliefs, his background, and his intentions. Don't think it works that way, but that's how it works in this book. In fact, it takes a suicide and some other political shenanigans before the Senate does what it should have done right from the beginning when this arrogant SOB showed up. And I'm not going to tell you what that is because, that would spoil it. Although this book has been out for a long time. There was even a movie, so you probably already know. The book was written in 1959. It won the Pulitzer in 1960, and surprisingly holds up fairly well. It's just that you can smell the mustiness as you go through it. I mean, this ain't your granddad's Senate anymore, that's for sure. I'm not sure it was when Drury wrote this either, because I just don't see the Senate acting like this back then. Oh, sure, there was and still is the old boy network, and now that includes the old girl network. And that prickly sense of overblown importance, easily recognizable even today. But it's like Drury took liberties with the procedures in order to make his larger point. And what is that larger point? Well, I'm not going to spoil that either, but suffice to say it's related to the Red Scare. Look it up. So I'm not sure why anyone would want to read this today. Other than historical or political or literary interest, there's no dragons, there's no misunderstood maverick cop fighting the system, no tough girl who can knock out 10 or 15 bikers with one hand, no gay people. Although there is one gay man who is handled with rather surprising sympathy and respect for a book written in 1959 by a raving right-wing white guy. That alone makes it worth your time, as does this particular passage. Let me read this here from page 597 of my copy. This was the era domestically when everything was half done, when the job on the car was always half finished. The bright new gadget broke down a week after you got it home. The prices climbed higher and higher as the quality got less and less. The great age of the shoddy came upon America. Everybody wants his became the guiding principle. And we think this crap has only been going on for 4 or 5 years. D. Krause here. See you later.